Hello again, this is Dr. Mia Luth. It is July 12th, 2026. Let me see. It hurts. It is 5 after 11. I'm having neck issues and all kinds of stuff. But I ran out of space. This happens. This phone is, not the world's greatest. It's the basic. That's really what I need it for, to make phone calls. All right. So what I was trying to say before is that there's certain terminology, and for those who understand who use the term quantum leap, right? That is a new age term. All right, so for to avoid some confusion and to avoid issues and misunderstandings, that's a new age term. Okay, and the reminder biblically here is Jesus loves until the end, even until the end of an age. So your time ran out. So many of you are out of bounds. Many of you. Right. So what is happening on Earth, everywhere, no matter what anybody wants to do about it, you can't stop it. Is what's the word? Right. There are some who, perhaps thinking they were above human law, or could do certain things without human law intervening. And well, there's more than one type of law. So, all right. Like I said, anybody who's falsely accused me personally of something, you're cursed. You will need Jesus to help you with that. I get threatened a lot, but this is what I'm gonna say. When I was younger, I don't know, in my mid-teens or so, my mother had trouble dropping things. Like, she would, talk about it, and when you think it's all settled and done, she, later on fires back up. So, I mean, it gets a little bit frustrating. And, so one day it was like that for me, and, it kind of went on for 2-3 days, and she'd drop it and everything, and then something would trigger it or something, and then she'd be back on it and yelling and screaming. And so when I was younger, I mean, I wasn't as equipped as I am now to be able to kind of understand that and process it the way I do now. So I walked downstairs into our basement and then walked into the garage, and I shut the garage door, and I needed to vent energy. So I punched the freezer door, and I mean, I did feel pain, for sure, but I dented the freezer door to the point where it was no longer, I basically broke the freezer door with one punch. We couldn't put it, there's no way I could put it back on. And, so I realized at that very specific moment in time, even if she hits me, or she comes after me, or she's yelling at me, or anyone else for that matter, I probably should not be punching anybody. You know what I'm saying? I'm just gonna have to refrain. I'm gonna have to find other ways, do other kinds of things, and maneuver that energy. And so some want to call it alchemy, but there is a difference between transmuting and alchemy. And so me transmuting, and so I put it in, extra private storage. And so sometimes when I have overflow, it goes right where it's most needed. Okay, yes, according to God, not anybody else. I've been stolen from, lied to, raped, tortured, murdered. Yeah, in a certain sense, right? Because I was one of those who, right, didn't get a chance. That's another reason, free some of those. But I will remind Christians, and that includes Catholics, yes, remember this though. Okay, when we were yet pagans, you understand? So, okay, like don't be giving people a hard time. And in the United States of America, you can't force that on people. Alright? But God's got this. Point blank. So, what I was saying about Quantum Leap is basically there comes a time where, a certain amount of truth and light has occurred, and the, general human population gets to a point where there are some who are ready for a certain amount of light and truth. Okay, so mercifully it is done a little more according to linear time to make sure that it's not harmful to humankind. Now, there is a situation in Scripture in Revelation, which is singular, that does mention an angel was allowed to harm the earth. All right. So this is why I check everything through Christ, and I wait for the proper confirmation. If I don't get the proper confirmation, I mean, there's just no stopping or getting certain things wrong. And I have not been making mistakes. So anyone who has accused me of these things, or has used tech, or has used AI, or anything, or anyone, well, you're all about, I'm introducing you to my brother Seth. See, I know what certain original names are. I'm saying are, A-R-E, as in yes, present, past, present, future. Okay? And so he never has to be nice. Like, that's not one of his traits and characteristics, especially when it comes to the fact you hurt his sister. Now, so yeah, I mean, you'll learn the hard way, and I was trying to avoid that. No matter what's been done to me, still trying to avoid that anyway. But yeah, Quantum Leap is a New Age term. Alright, but just remember though, y'all wanting to go into the New Age, yes, do love you even unto the end of an age. So, unfortunately, and sadly, actually, I mean, I had to grieve that, actually. There are many of you where it will be Jesus saying, I didn't know you. And quite frankly, just letting everybody know, you don't want to make my life a game, and you don't want to make my life a competition, and you don't want to continue to make my life more difficult. And you should stand up for me and do the right things here, but, many of you don't want to do that because, you're... I have some unpleasant terminology that I'm just not going to use. But, deep down, especially when I get threatened. Because God is not only my lawyer, but He is also my witness, and I do have other witnesses around, for certain things. And so when I stand up for other people, myself and or other people, when I step up and when I'm trying to, and I get threatened, it's, I never really do things just for me, you understand? Occasionally, but I wait. Mission oriented, I wait. So some things, not really just for me, but I mean, indirectly and over time, it will positively affect planet Earth. Right? So, you aren't quantum leaping. Okay? And so if you guys accepted New Age, then you are out of the bounds of God's love. And you essentially have lost God's love. So once that happens, I can't help you. But X.com in particular, okay, right, well, what you've done is denied God's word. You've stolen intellectual property, and you're making up rules and regulations that go against all sorts of different kind of laws in the United States and probably other countries. I'm not speaking for them, but I'm guessing Canada and, you know, UN, and, you know, you are not permitted to edit or, right, stop certain people from communicating. So, you know, right, well, I'm bringing you up on charges. And, right, the judge is God. So just let God handle that one. Like I said, some of these things. You know, again, today, alright, some of us wait to get supplies. We have to wait, and, you know, and then we get our weekly supplies. Well, there is an individual whose initials, a Sunrise resident, whose initials are SK, and she is a female. She identifies female, and she's a petty thief. And I know for sure she knows she's not supposed to be stealing things from stores and flea markets, because I lived with her for just a little while, and she tried to hide it from staff. Now, see, you don't try to hide something if you don't know it's wrong. So I am a witness against Sharon. First name only. Okay? And, you know, well, that makes Upper Ray culpable because they're the ones taking her places to do that. And over time, I'm sure it's more than just petty theft. Anyway, yeah, that one. She doesn't like to wait. She's very yucky in certain ways. And these things should have been handled differently. And you know what I'm saying. They don't know what they're doing. And she's also, you know, capable of being abusive to other clients, which is something that, right, clients are supposed to be protected from, but they are not. My word is good. Right. So, three of us, we walked over. And it's a little harder for me, but I did. I should have brought my cane, you know, and, you know, if I go more than just around the house, I should have brought my cane, regardless. So we were sitting, waiting, and then, you know, van drops off some people and all this. Well, and two of us, you know, we're told, oh, we're just waiting for this one to come open the door. So we got in line, and, yeah, right, and, you know, I mean, I had to pee, and since I was first on site, and then two others behind me, I should be first in line, because I'm walking home. I don't have to wait for a ride. And, you know, my legs were starting to hurt, and things like that, because I can't stand up for long periods of time. Well, so, I mean, I saw it. I read her, and I'm like, Sharon, you know, just remember there's a line. And people who, you know, right, waited and, you know, need to go home. Wait, you know, blah, who do you think you are? And she's not pleasant at all. Well, I know who I am. The person who's stating facts and truth. When you're standing on truth, you don't really worry about too much. Now, unfortunately, there's a not so manly dude. Didn't want to. He's always like, it's alright. Well, he's a bum. Yeah. I think the Social Security Administration should know that. He's claiming he's in a lot of pain, but nobody can find. My pain is findable. Osteoarthritis, fibro. You understand? Alright. His is not. Well, because he's just a bum. And he's going to need to learn the hard way. But, when it goes on, I'm like, no, it's not okay. And you didn't stand up for me, I mean, you should have said, Sharon, she's like, right, telling me the truth. You got to wait. So I got to stand up for dudes, too. And I'm getting tired of that, fellas. Okay? Like, he doesn't get a man card. It's been revoked. Okay, this isn't about certain things. Like, some of you be like, well, I shut up. I'm not talking to the trans community. You understand what I'm saying? Right. I'm not talking about any of that. That's not what I'm saying. Like, a human who doesn't, a witness who knows that I'm speaking truth, who, right, is trying to stop someone from butting in line, because somebody's got to do it. So I did. And she tried to get in line ahead of all of us. And I stood in front of her. She said, we were here first. I said, no, you were not. I mean, 3 of us waited patiently. Everybody else got rides. We sat outside waiting patiently and stood in line, got a bladder. Well, no. You don't let it slide. Which is probably what parents and, right, schools and social services and people who think they're helping people, psychiatrists, psychologists, okay, y'all just like, oh, well, no, I'm mentally ill or not. But she probably has brain damage. So, right, people with brain damage shouldn't be at Sunrise, see. So, if the state of Maryland does not want to intercede, then heaven is. Right, but I don't know who's teaching some of this crap, but it needs to go. It's wrong. It's not appropriate. There's, abuse going on. Like, they're supposed to protect us from, right, self-neglect, abuse, but that's not what's happening. At all. I speak truth. And that is why some people don't like me. They will even attack me. Okay, but in this case, right, so she said, I will fuck you up. She got her fists up. And I said, bring it on, little one. Because then, I got self-defense. My life isn't a game. Okay, Upper Bay Support Services, Counseling and Support Services in Elton, Maryland is completely ineffective. Okay, some of these people shouldn't be out on the street because it can be harmful to them and they can, be triggered and be harmful to others. So, right, this is completely not okay. These people aren't really being healed from anything. Right, you understand? No, it's done. I'm done. So I've handed this off now. I had witnesses that knew, and one of them called me just before I made this video to say, I'm a witness if you need it. Right? Fine. Okay, I don't care if you scaredy cats and sissies, cowards, on a sissy puss. You don't like conflict? Well, welcome to human fucking kind, planet Earth. Okay, the U.S. government has stepped on my civil rights more than once, okay? The Maryland state government has stepped on my civil rights more than once. Harford County government has stepped on my human rights and civil rights more than once. Cecil County is now stepping on my rights. X.com stepping on my civil rights. And no AI gets rights ahead of the entirety of humankind. That message shall not change. So those of you ignoring me, you will pay the price for that. I never ever do anything without asking what the cost is. That is also in Scripture. I'm allowed to be an independent men's pro and semi-pro hockey safety advocate. So the NHL, owners, NHLPA, I don't care. You can try and shut me down and it will not work. False accusations all over the place. So, right, but I'm, right, bringing charges. So I was trying very hard to not hurt a volunteer board, but unfortunately it is just unacceptable here in every possible way. Some of these people should not be employed. They try and manipulate and it's not working anymore. I'm not less than. And I mean business. No time for play right now. So we're going to have a takeover. Planet Earth. Like it or not. See, stuff like that happens all the time. I get threatened a lot. A lot. Physically threatened. I'm gonna fuck you up. Come on! Somebody puts hands on me or touches me or punches at me. You understand? Now see, one punch broke. Well, I broke my hand, but it broke a freezer door to the point, bent the freezer door in to the point where I couldn't put it back on. Not a little tiny. I don't think anybody wants me to punch anybody. But since, y'all ignoring me and testing me and doing all kinds of stupid crap and pretending and whatever the fuck game you're playing, it is over. These people, places need to be found for the residents of Sunrise. Immediately. State of Maryland, Delaware, I need a hand. We're very close to Delaware. Might be places, you understand, right? Delaware. Pennsylvania, I need a hand. By the way, Pennsylvania is a commonwealth, and right, so is Virginia. But I need a hand in Pennsylvania. You know, we're not that far away from the Pennsylvania border. There might be places for some of these people to go. Some of them belong actually in jail. Social Security Administration. I am also putting you on notice as I'm suing you. Bullying and harassment, an employee regarding certain things. I mean, no. I mean, that's it. You're done. It's over. Like, getting fired is the least of your worries. Every time I get attacked or threatened, all of my brothers know. You ever heard of the Sons of Thunder? Well, you're gonna know. Immediately, actually. Right. Right, this is what I'm saying. So those of you who are adult autistic advocates, I know quite a few. Okay, right. You need to just start banging on Upper Bay's door and saying, we're sorry, you may not keep taking in autistics, and the autistics that are here need to be moved to an environment that is much more suitable for them. Okay? For their sake, for the sake of those around, you understand? Right. But some of these cases, see, there are people talk to me every day, and they don't realize what's going on. The U.S. government needs to understand that the state of Maryland seems to just have abandoned Cecil County, Maryland, for some reason. And those who have been handling Cecil County are going to have to be held accountable. There are little things that can be done. No, we can't go at a snail's pace. And I've got so many cases of medical mistakes and other things that, right, I mean, we have to close it down. We have to. For the good of everybody. So, in Pennsylvania, I'm asking for a helping hand. Residents, there might be some places in Pennsylvania, Maryland, state of Maryland, you know what I'm saying. Okay, you know, there are clients who are being abusive to other clients. And so all Upper Bay has been doing is just moving them around. Plus, they've accused me of some things they clearly don't understand. But the first time I was here, right, should have picked up on it. I mean, I had one of them in the United States of America tell me that God is offensive, and I may not know. What? With, okay, air quote, Satan and I aren't fighting against each other. Shaitan and I. And like I said, I wanted to triple check information about Lucifer because it just totally didn't seem right. It wasn't Lucifer who pretended to be God. There's an original plan, and Lucifer did what was asked of him. It was the A name. So everybody was allowed to, you know, take a shot, take a leg, you know, take a swipe. You understand? That's done and over with now. It is in the proper hands. So, some truths are coming. A lot of you are seriously mistaken. Many of you think or feel or have been told that you're doing these great, wonderful things. Unfortunately, Ray, you are being used to create and do harm that is not the angel in Revelation who harms the earth. Okay, the way it sounds, You understand? A different kind of harm. Right? So, right. If you guys could send me some love, thoughts, all that kind of stuff, I appreciate it. So, yes, I've gone above everyone's head. I mean, that's just the case. And, you know, what I'm going to say to some Catholics is, well, you may tolerate them, but I do not. Certain things. Okay? I am surrounded by people who are seriously broken minds, seriously misinformed, undereducated, you know, that like these people are not being handled properly. I mean, right, I'm not even all up to pace on the field of psychology, but they're like 30 years or more behind. Okay, so no one is being handled properly. Okay, you don't treat adults like children. You don't let the petty thief. Well, I mean, what am I supposed to do? She's a thief, and Upper Bay is aware of this, and they take her places where she can, you know, 5-finger discount, and over time, I'm sure, you know, and I'm a witness against her, and she threatened me in front of witnesses today. So, you know, unfortunately, Upper Bay is no longer able, and they should lose their 501c3 and CARF if we need to shut you down because you guys don't understand, alright? Like, you guys can't pace for crap. And I don't really care. And I do qualify in the state of Maryland as a spiritual healer. And I'm tired. Stumbling blocks and all kinds of crap put in my way. You're causing harm because I can't do what I do. So, we are at war. And if the state of Maryland won't intercede and immediately get the residents of Sunrise Upper Bay to safer, better, more appropriate locations, and the U.S. government does not enforce right, well, then I'm asking member nations of the United Nations, right, to immediately pressure the United States government, which should be pressuring the state of Maryland. These people need to go. If you know anybody, family who has, I'm saying to you, you understand, they could accidentally be abusive to other clients. That is not okay. Or other clients could accidentally be abusive to them. And you understand, it has to stop, and it will stop. And if I gotta ask member nations to put pressure on the state of Maryland and the United States government, excuse me. Yeah, and they also need to enforce the laws here. Human. Some of these people aren't actually, right, probably misdiagnosed, but there are a few who I just know have brain damage. So why are they not seeing neurologists? Why are they not occupational therapy? Right, because, right, Upper Bay is wrong in every way, and a lot of these people are being used inappropriately, and it needs to stop. So you can all ignore me, but even if none of my brothers see this, it's still gonna happen. So those of you who could have helped me and did not, well, you're cursed, and you will need Jesus to help you with that. Okay, the names will change if an angel is up It's like Lucifer, when Lucifer's up, right? But when one is down, then it's Samael. So, but particularly autistic advocates, right? You need to hear me, and you need to like just make a bunch of phone calls to Upper Bay and say, you guys, and I did give Cecil County government and court services a chance. I also gave, the state of Maryland education, and then Mary Ann Redding told Upper Bay that there were other people also trying to witness and give their testimony, which is a firing offense. This is absolutely unacceptable in every way. Okay? Now see, if member nations and others don't, jump in, help out, put pressure, make sure it gets done, blah, blah, blah. Well then, since you guys wait, instead of starting with God, till everybody's been harmed and it's emergencies and blah, 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 you understand, an archangel is going to topple a government. Some of you getting all pissed off at me online. I'm like, hey, thanks for the fuel. Right. My money has been I've been fumbled so many times, it's insane, you know what I'm trying to say, right. So I'm just letting YouTube know, I don't think you want to cut me off. And like I said, I prefer you guys have a human, watch. And you guys do need to do something about, for the blind, closed captioning is not appropriate or okay. So again, my name is Dr. Mia Luth, and some terminology, unfortunately, many of you have moved out of his command, and I can't help you. So those found with no excuse are slowly being brought to light. Anyone who tried to accuse me of something that I didn't do, well, you're double screwed. And I am asking, the state of Pennsylvania, state of Delaware, the rest of the counties in the state of Maryland, we need to find proper places where there is more supervision and where people can't be brought to stores to petty thief for many years. Some of these people have brain damage, you understand? They shouldn't be, you should be working on the brain damage, not giving them freaking Zoloft. I have so many counts of medical malpractice. We don't have a choice but to shut down Christiana Care, Elton, Maryland. And, unfortunately, what Christiana Care did was jump in, apparently not knowing God had a plan, and showed zero faith, and was not supposed to do that. So, also, I'm supposed to be a Medicare. Why is that not happening? Like I said, for some, you know what hell on earth is? Alright, okay, we take you and we put you in a hermitage where there's no internet. And, there's no TV. And, there's no telephone. And you don't have access to any kind of outside world. And, people tell you to clean toilets with a toothbrush. And, right. For the rest of it, we can do that with cloistered nunneries too. There's worse places than physical prison. There's always an answer, and the answer to every question is God. Now, I love my brother. So although I'm nice Mia all the time, I can assure you, there are times where, yes, I do have the ability to act. Now, it's getting to the point here where, unfortunately, yes, somebody keeps trying to push and press, and I get called all kinds of stuff. These people, and some of them are so, hopped up on medications, they don't know shit. Some of them should not be out walking around. I don't give a shit. Michael, right? Please take action, and whoever else needs to be involved, immediately get involved. For my sake and theirs. There are plenty of people walking around in the United States thinking they're helping people and doing the right thing, when in fact, that is not at all the case. And I don't need to take abuse because I didn't volunteer for this and I don't get paid. You understand? So somebody around here, like, people threaten me all the time. One of them, falsely accused me of being a pedophile for no reason. I was just trying to fix my camera. I was aiming. Okay, at a garbage bin. Big one of those big dumpsters. Somebody's kid just happened to be right in the background, wondering why, is this gonna take a proper picture? Is it gonna be blurry? Right, come running out. Oh, it's a pedophile. False accusations out loud. Laws aren't being properly enforced here, and also, there are some things. The historic parts of Elton are being neglected. None of it's okay. There's, I'm sorry, state of Maryland, you've had a chance. I don't care. I'm asking other states close by, the federal government, okay, to take action immediately. Okay? Like, I wasn't kidding. Who do I think I am? My name is Mia. I'm Dr. Mia Lee. And I know his original name. So, the state of Maryland will be sanctioned. People will get fired. Certain people who have brain damage who are here will be taken care of properly in other places that no one accepts that they have brain damage. And the petty theft will stop and the abuse will stop. So that's that. Alright? Point blank. Alright, I'm probably going to run out of space again, but, I'm trying to, give information. It has been checked, rechecked, and Of course, right, check through Christ. I check everything through my brother on purpose. In the beginning, the Word. I am also the Word. I know who has the hand of God. So, please proceed. You may execute. I better see some friendlies in Elkton, Maryland, ASAP. Damn right I'm bossy. Lives, souls depend on what I'm doing. And I do not fuck around.